since we got here and since I first started buying in January of '05, we've purchased over 2,000 single-family homes here in Marion County. And what's been interesting is the business model that we have now is unique. Because what we do, and Terry, if you want to pull some of those slides, is go ahead and click them all. There you go. Go back, hit the back arrow. Okay. What we do for investors all over the country is we buy houses here in Indianapolis, we fix the houses up, we rent the houses out, they're all managed out of this office here, and then we sell the houses as rental properties to investors all over the country. For the past 3 years, we've sold over 400 properties to investors just like yourself that live in Florida and Michigan and California and Hawaii and Korea and Australia and Sweden. And that's, what's that? Taiwan. Yeah.
We have Japanese investors that live here in the States.
Yeah. And it's been really interesting because when I left California, it was '04. It was a couple years before the market went in the toilet. And people said to me, "What are you doing?" I had a guy who his little real estate scheme, his plan. In California, they do a new housing development, and they do it in phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. So he would try to get a home under contract in phase 1 with, put 20 grand down, close on it in phase 2 with the bank and get a mortgage so that he could turn around and put it on the market during phase 3 9 months later, and then a year out he would sell it when the whole subdivision was finished. Now he did really well on that with that, from '01 to '03 and '03 to '04, and he had spun up about $6 million down in San Diego, in LA, doing that. And what was funny, well not funny, but tragic, was that when I left, he's like, "Dude, just do the tract home thing with me. Do the phase deal. The phase flipping is where it's at." I'm like, "I don't know, man. For me, this $1 million is a lot of money, and I was making 33 grand a year just a couple years ago, and now I'm scared to death to lose it." And I said, I'm just going to trust my old man and go to Indiana and just buy these rental props for 30, 40, 50 grand. And in '07, that on paper he had just over $8 million, and when the market went in the toilet within 18 months, that was worth $1.3 million, because values just disappeared. It just eliminated. And I thought, how interesting is that? Because it's like playing craps. He just kept his money all in.
So you have bought 2,000.
Yeah.
You've sold 400.
No, we've sold. That's just in the last 3 years. We've been buying and selling properties full time since.
2005.
Yeah, we've done a lot of deals.
So you don't maintain and hold all of what you buy.
Correct. So right now we have 600 doors under management a year? So we have about 600 doors under management.
Okay, so it's a shift.
Yeah, some of them have gone owner-occupied. Some have gone owner-occupied, homeowners. Some of them, one of the mistakes that I made when we first came out here was we bought a lot of ghetto neighborhoods. We bought way too much near East Side, way too much near West Side, and we paid too much for deals like that. And we ended up, we took on a lot of management for those neighborhoods, and what we thought would be like a 12, 14, 15% deal was like a 6, 8, 9% deal. So we ended up cutting bait on a lot of inventory right around, it was like what, maybe '07-ish? Yeah. Early '08. It's been a really interesting learning curve, as far as not just where you should buy, because think about Indianapolis as a market, a real estate market. You have to know this market street by street, right? You can be on the east side of Meridian and be in Fall Creek, and be, Fall Creek homes are, $120,000 to $250,000, middle class, upper middle class, or you can go on the west side of Meridian and you're in Stray Hood, the same street marker, 23rd, 24th of Meridian. You go west of Meridian, and within 2 streets you can be in completely different neighborhoods. And so it's funny, like today I was literally at the foreclosure auction buying houses, and there was other investors that were there. And it's funny because you see them thinking, "Oh, I know what you think that neighborhood is. That's not what that is. Like, you go ahead and pay 50 grand for that." Because we won't be seeing you in a few more months. And so that learning curve for us has been huge, because not only do we now know what values are block by block here in town, but we also know rental rates. And it's been interesting to me, not being raised in Indianapolis. even my own father was a hard money lender, he was a real estate guy. Because he grew up on the east side and went to Tech High School, that's what he preferred. He preferred what he knew. And neighborhoods that he thought we should be investing in, we don't even buy houses in anymore. Because east side Indy in the 1950s and 60s, when he was growing up, is not the same neighborhood now, but he had these fond memories because he was emotional. And so for us, it's been, we've had to take a very clinical, detached approach to this market. Yeah.
Do you use the rental maximization software that's available in the marketplace now?
No, we've done so much trial and error on this market that it's already.
Your own algorithms.
Yeah, we really have.
Your own knowledge.
Yeah, it's been blood money, blood knowledge. We've paid the highest price for it. That's a great question. So it's been interesting because about 3.5 years ago, prior to that, we had just been selling our properties to investors who we found through random sources, friend of a friend, word of mouth. My friends from California were buying properties from us, and friends from Utah. And so it was, we were doing 3, 4, 5 properties a month. And a friend of mine who has a real estate investing radio show out in California called me and he said, Aaron, I'm getting investors all over the country who realize the market's tanking and they just want cash flow properties. They just want rentals. Would you be interested in selling those properties through my radio show to these clients? And we thought, this was about 4 years ago, and we thought, yeah, that's an interesting idea. We've never done that. We had never aggressively marketed what we have been doing. And so we started working with him, and we would give him 3 or 4 properties a week. He'd go on his radio show, he'd talk about real estate investing. People would call and say, how can I get deals like that? And he'd say, here you go, and then we'd pay him a commission. And about a year into that, he came to me and he said, I have a good friend, he has a TV show called Flip This House on A&E, and he's getting into the seminar business. How would you feel about coming out to those seminars, being one of the teachers, and then bringing some of your indie props and selling them at the seminar? And I said, well, where's he doing the seminars? He said, in California. And so since about 3 years, it'll be 3 years ago in September, since then we've been selling 15, 20 props a month at his seminars. And so much so that he actually started selling a seminar here in Indy with us, where he would send people from all over the country here to Indianapolis. We'd get a room at the JW Marriott or at the Hyatt, and then we would put them on buses and drive them around town. And we'd say, this is why we like Irvington, this is why we like Speedway, this is why we like Perry Township, this is why we like this neighborhood and that neighborhood. Show them houses, and then it was like taking orders. People would just take the properties from us. Okay?
You can get a house for $28,000.
Exactly. Yep, that's exactly what it was. And so it's funny because now for the last 3 years we've had our head in the sand, and we've been working with investors all over the country and nobody here in Indy. And we, about 6 months ago, John is a friend of mine and his friend Mike. And John's a financial planner. He works with investors all over town. And I met him through Mike, Mike and I both work out at the same gym, and we got to chat one day, and Mike said, man, what you do is really interesting. I got a friend, John, he's a financial planner. He'd love to talk to you about it. So long story short, we made the decision that we would use wholesale houses to start just kind of a grassroots, organic networking program here in town. And what our goal would be is to find other like-minded investors who we can partner up with on properties, sell properties to, and work with here locally. Because our business has exploded